you have to use a yarn needle or a comb. First you have to get the row in it, and you run it down. A lot of installers use ink pens, which is not correct, because it doesn't, especially on these level loop pieces. It doesn't form correctly, and you have to get a surface that you can cut. A lot of installers want to use a loop file cutter on level loops. I don't recommend it. The main thing is that you want to get a nice even cut. This cuts it down the row. You want to make sure it's on top of a surface that has a little give to it. You pull it away gently, because there's always could be a fray or so, which in that sense which you can always snip those off. That's not a big deal. As you can see, the edge of the seam is rowed correctly, and that's ready to be sealed. The seam sealer, when you put the seam sealer on, it goes on the edge only. It doesn't. You put a little small bead with the applicator bottle down the edge, and then you rub it in with your fingers as so. Especially if the one piece was a glue down to where this could even be laid down to use the honey sealer. The installer decided to use some latex sealer on here, which is typically used for stretch in. But basically, all you got to do is run a small bead down the edge of the honey. That's what we call it for commercial glue down. And he's been good. As you can see, that piece is rowed, ready to be sealed, ready to be seen. I go back over to the same piece. Now these are scraps they gave me that they said that they couldn't get a row in, and that's why I'm demonstrating it. Same thing. Thing is that on level loops, yeah, some of the loops they catch sometimes. That's so. You just work around it and go back in it until the row is complete. If one isn't good, you wipe it out. If one doesn't catch, if one is a little stitched a little different, then you just go to another one. You just find one that you can get it down. It goes clearly. Same thing. Now, after you make one cut on one side of the seam, you always want to change your blade. Always make sure you got a sharp blade. Put the sharp blade in, and you always use it to the side that you're cutting to the seam. Always just give it a little bit of depth. Same thing. Run it down the edge of the seam that you put the row in. Any tiny little frays. As you can see, these edges are clean cut, no frays, they're rowed correctly. That's ready to be sealed. As you can see, none of the loops are deviated, and if there is any of these are just little nips. They'll trim right off. Nowhere near compared to what I got pictures of. As you can see, it's ready to seal.